Hi, Lisa Marie here. I have a few things that have kind of like come through my thoughts and my mind that I have been asked and thought I would share. Let me press go. And one of those things is this. We need to have a roadmap to success. And if you haven't had weight loss surgery, you're thinking about it, or maybe you're brand new and you're just a week or two or even a month out, you still can follow this process, these steps, in order to have success. First of all, you got to kind of think, instead of how a lot of us have been taught to set goals with, these little steps of what you can do to get there, I'm going to say, let's flip it around, and we're going to start up here at the end. At the end, what is it we want? For me, prior to surgery, I wanted to be healthy. So here at the end of your road, this is your main goal. You're wanting to be healthy, right? So if this were a big road in our life, kind of coming around, you see there's twists and turns. If you want to imagine there's a couple of hills here, you can do that too. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, there's going to be different things that possibly get in the way and all of that stuff in order to do this. But if you take a few simple steps to see what you're really wanting, it's actually going to be a lot easier than you think. So first of all, you're going to think of the end. What is the end that you want? Now, just saying healthy, just like any other goal, if it's not specific, it really doesn't matter. So what does healthy look like to you? Not your spouse, not your best friend, not your brother or sister, not your mom or dad, not the doctors, but you. What does healthy look like to you? Well, to me, it was to play with the grandkids, to walk 30 minutes, to jog, another thing that healthy looked like to me was wise choices or wise food. So write down kind of the end dream goal. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. What is your end goal? What is the thing that you're wanting your life to look like and be? Maybe it's different things. Maybe it's a big house. Maybe it's a job. Maybe it's moving. It could be all sorts of things. Whatever this kind of end of the path thing is, if you were to just go, and sit there for a while, what does that look like to you? Okay? Now to get there, there's going to be some pivotal. There's going to be some important points. And there's going to be some important stops along the way. Well, one of the stops for me in being healthy was that I needed to be physically fit. In order to be able to get on the ground and play here, in order to get on the ground and be able to play with the kids, in order to be able to walk for 30 minutes, in order to be able to jog, I had to actually be physically fit and do things. So now one of your stops here is going to be fit. Hey, Tanya, what does fit look like to you? Write those things out over here on the tree, whatever. Now, in order to get fit, here in the road are the things that you're needing to do. So it's going to be walk 10 minutes 3 times a week. Mind you, this is when I very first had surgery. This is what I was thinking. The goal then would be to work up to 30 minutes daily. Another thing, in order to be fit, what you're going to have to do, whatever it is for you. There are a few people I know that can't actually walk and do things, so they had to do chair fitness. But all of these steps are what going to lead to this. And being this is going to help you get on the path to this. Does that make sense? So one of the other things on my end dream thing is to be wise with my food choices. So here's another stop in the road. And it's my meals. So what is it going to take in order for my meals to be wise choices? What are the steps that I'm going to need to take to do that? What would you need to do? Well, I would say 1, you have to plan. 2, you have to prepare. And probably more importantly, 3, you have to take it with you. Simple enough, right? You have to plan it, you do have to prepare it, and you have to have it with you in order to be able to make these wise choices. But what if you're going somewhere where you don't have it with you and you can't do that? Then you're going to need to learn labels, and that's a 4. And you're going to have to be able to ask questions. Ask questions if you're at a restaurant. Ask questions of a menu. Ask people that the house that you're going to. You're going to have to be able to ask questions in order to be able to have your meals on track. One of the very first kind of steppy type hurdle things that I had, especially right after surgery, hey Nancy, that I thought was a huge hill to climb, was going to be being on just liquids or just pureed foods. So here's another stop in the road, and I'll say it's the stages. The stages of the process from when you have surgery. And depending on your doctor, kind of depends on your stages and how quickly they progress you through them or how slowly they have you go through them. On average, you're on actual clear, absolutely liquids for 1 to 3 weeks. And then they have something called full liquids, which are things, it might be a little thicker, malto meal, oatmeal, cottage cheese, yogurt, things like that. They're things that you can't really read through like you can with clear liquids, but if you could, which you shouldn't after surgery, but if you could, or you needed to, or if somebody else could do it for you, suck it through a straw, that would be like a full liquid that you could still get in, and it's going to go down like liquids. And let me tell you, first off, when you first started going in that phase, you're going to think you can have something a little bit thicker, and your tummy's going to holler at you and say, you need to make that runnier. And it may not taste as good, but, you know, hey, it's nutrition. So, back here, the stages. For me, I did something similar to this, and I had to write out, okay, what were my stages? The first stage were the liquids. The next stage was the purees. Then the next stage were soft solids. And then my next stage were foods. So I kind of knew what was coming. I knew what was going to be coming up around the bend. Now, you can take this, and even though this is leading up here to your end success, future down the path, sometimes this has to be broken down even more like this. So we're going to have like a side road to getting to this, and that is what you need in order to plan out what the pureed stage looks like to you, what the liquid stage looks like to you, what you're going to need to have on hand, what you're going to have to be brave enough to ask your support system to help you with and to do. All of that is part of the road. I'm going over the time, and I didn't mean to. I apologize. But it's really important that you feel comfortable in your path and in the steps of taking a different side route, you know, that's going to get you to that thing. So our stop that we wanted to get to on the road here was the stages, right? However, in order to get there, we had to come from this little house over here. And at this house, that's where you lay the foundation that's going to allow you to drive over here to get on this path to do the next steps that are needed. And that would be, so thinking of my thing when I first had surgery, it was the liquids. Well, what did that look like? Well, according to my doctor's papers, I needed to have at least 64 ounces of liquid in my body every day. And if you go by what a lot of people say, it's half your body weight in ounces of water. So if you weigh 200 pounds, then you need 100 ounces of water. And as your body goes down, your water consumption can go down. Sometimes it evens out, just different things. But you need to map out what the liquids are going to look like to you. For me, what worked for me, I don't have it here, but you know my little tiny itty bitty cup that I had that is 1 ounce, which is 2 tablespoons, which I can put when I take a swallow of something, it's 1 tablespoon of liquid in my mouth, but it takes me 5 swallows to swallow that. Crazy, right? That's just how my stomach worked then. So I had to look at a clock and say, okay, every hour I want to have 8 ounces of beverage. I want to have 8 ounces of the clear liquid. It could have been, what do you call that? Broth. It could have been the low sugar juice. Could have just been water, tea. What else did I have? I have it all written down. Of course, I don't have it with me. But you need to plan out what that time is going to look like to you for a couple of reasons, like several reasons, but 2 that come to my mind are so that when you're doing this, you're staying satisfied, you're staying kind of full, you're not hungry. And a lot of us don't have the hunger mechanism to begin with anyway. So you're building the habit. You're building the habit of sipping, sipping, sipping all day long. Sipping, sipping, sipping. So that when you do incorporate foods, and you need to have that time between when you've had beverage and now when you're going to eat, which varies from doctor to doctor. Some of them want you to have at least 15 minutes. That's like the minimum, 15 minutes. And others have, you need to wait 30 minutes before you have food or beverage after you've had beverage or food. And some it's an hour. So in order to get to that stage coming up, this first stage, you need to be able to have your body used to it. And the only way you can do that is sip, sip, sip all day long, basically. Keep a bottle with you, like I have. If you want an insulated bottle, keep your insulated bottle. Keep a cup. Whatever it is that's going to help you measure it without it being overwhelming. So you're going to write that out, and you're going to say what that looks like for you. For me, I knew the first thing at 6 a.m. in the morning, I just had water. Then at 7, I had hot tea. Then at 8, and mind you, this is when you're off of work, right? You're not back to work. This is that first week or two after surgery, okay? This is your training period, and this is where you're helping your body heal. And this is where you're going to learn if you like hot beverages, warm beverages, or cold beverages. And it may not be what it is prior to surgery, which is just pretty stinking funny. So then I had a sugar-free juice. You get the point. You just kind of lay out your day and then have these things handy. Have them already prepared and already ready for you. Then you'll be ready to get here on this road, and you'll be able to go through those stages very quickly, very well to do that. And I think, when people say setting goals and it's this big thing, I've never understood how to break it down. And it was always super intimidating to me. And this is what works for me. This is what helps me, is looking at the end, what I want the end to be, and then what it's going to take to get there. And sure, you can write out 100 things here in the middle. You can have 100 stops if you want to. I'm a little ADD, maybe, and a shiny object comes along and gets in the way. I can't do that. I kind of have to have bigger bullets of this is what's going on, this is what I'm going to have, this is what I'm going to do. That's just what works for me. So starting, and of course I've erased it, now you can't see it, but if you have your end thing that you're wanting, and it could be a year from now, 6 months from now, 5 years from now, it's something that is your future, but that's that big thing. Then pick 3 things that are going to help you get to that. And you can brain dump, you can write out on a different piece of paper all the things you think that are going to help you get to that, and then go back and look at it and say, okay, what are like the biggest things that if I lumped, all of these different things together, it would be here. And for me, that was then having fitness and doing some kind of physical activity in order for me to be able to have that end thing be a reality. And then you kind of work your way backwards down here to the beginning. It just makes it so much easier. And if you're just starting out from wanting to have surgery, curious about surgery, it's hard. It is hard to not compare yourself to others. It is. It's hard. But please stop it. If you're doing it, please stop it. Because everybody's different. Everybody's body's different. Everybody's age is different. Everybody's healing is different. We're all so different. And if you just focus on you and your path and how you're going to drive on your road, pretend you've got the freeway all to yourself. Whoa, wouldn't that be awesome? No traffic. But what happens with a normal freeway? If you get distracted by other cars on the road, you're going to start following them instead of staying on your own path. And that's just not going to be helpful. So in the beginning, you do want to have that end thing, but then you want to see what those mile markers are to get you to that goal. And right now you're just thinking smaller. You're thinking in the stages that you're going to have to go through. And it'll make it so much easier. And I've talked way too long, so I don't want to keep going, but I'm thinking I'm going to actually draw this out again on real paper, and then I'll take pictures of it, and then I'll even go a little bit further into it of what it is so that you can have it too. And kind of an FYI, my coaching practice is about to open. And this is going to be part of one of the series or courses that I'm going to have that's going to be for people before surgery and maybe even with their support person of what they can do together or how you can speak up for yourself to your support people. And this is going to be one of the things that are covered in there. So have an awesome day. Good luck to you. It's really not that hard. Hey, Amy, you just have to think of the road of what it's going to take to get to the end, but focus on these first little steps that you need to take in order to get there. Don't try to drive fast like everybody else. You stay in your lane and you do what's right for you and your body. And you will get there. Okay? Have a great rest of your day. Have an awesome weekend. And I will talk to you later. Bye. Me and this button. Hey and bye, Abby. I'm having trouble pushing the right button.